guys are actually checking the quality of the air as they're approaching the incident, so everyone in the area can be safe and remove the container safely. So right now, what they're doing is they're pulling out a hose line just to be safe in case there is any fire. And what else they would we won't do it for the sake of practice today, is that they would actually spray down these potential occupants and make sure that they're safe for the paramedics to go and assess. So you can see the patients over there, they're being treated by a paramedic. They feel like marshmallow men. As you can see, they're getting half dressed in that suit. That is called a Class A suit. And what it is a totally encapsulated suit. Everyone in the area is safe. So now they're going to make sure that we're safe. Yeah. What are we calling it?
Take any monitoring equipment in with you or not? Really?
Now, if you guys are hot out here, you can imagine how hot these guys are in there. It's just like being in a giant Ziploc bag. You can even see on the windows of their suits, it's already fogging up. That's from the heat off their bodies condensating on the windows. Very uncomfortable conditions to work in. And due to the natures of the suit, these guys are trained not to try to kneel or bend over too much or have too much stress on the suit. If they kneel on the ground, their knees will be the weakest point where chemicals can actually get through the suit. And in high concentrations of toxic gas, the suit will only keep them safe for so long. So it's also something else we have to consider when we're doing scenarios like this and make sure that they don't overextend themselves and how much the suit can protect them. So as you can see, they have specialized equipment. They found out where the leak in the cylinder is actually happening. So they found a puncture leak in the side wall of the cylinder, and they're going to use the appropriate equipment to try to stop this leak from happening. So you can see they're preparing the cylinder, and they have to work together as a team. Communication is very hard in these suits. All you can really hear is a lot of the plastic rippling around, and they're constantly wiping the sweat off their head. If they have their suits, it's already fogging up. That's from the heat off their bodies condensating on the windows. Very uncomfortable conditions to work in. And due to the natures of the suit, these guys are trained not to try to kneel or bend over too much or have too much stress on the suit. If they kneel on the ground, and it can be kind of a scary feeling because right now they're in a totally what's called immediately dangerous to life and health. It'd be almost similar to being underwater into play because the logistics and planning and organizing to get everyone out safely in an orderly fashion, that takes a lot of training, a lot of organization. So that's the main purpose it serves. But for the sake of training, we had to speed things up so you guys would be able to see and everything like that. So you can see the crews have ended up tapping the cylinder through the sidewall feature. So right now, everyone will be safe in this scenario right now. So let's look at what these guys are doing in the chemical. You can see the vapor going all around them. What they're doing is called decontamination in the decontamination corridor. They're going to hose each other off and make sure they scrub each other with a solution that'll make sure that'll clean them off of any of that toxic vapor. So they all go through one by one. And the individuals that are watching them are also Hazmat tech trained firefighters, and they're actually dressed in a level of protection one level lower than them, so they don't get dirty from cross-contamination. And then eventually they would have to go through the pool and get washed by another group of people. Because one thing we do not want to do is we do not want to spread any of the chemicals around, or any of the patients that earlier that was in the cars. We have to make sure they're washed and clean, so when they go to the hospital, they don't have the chance of getting anyone else sick or anything like that. So that's just normal water that we use. And we use a special kind of soap solution to clean them off. So unfortunately, they have to be pretty patient to make sure that they're washed thoroughly, even though they're probably pretty eager to get out of that Ziploc bag. So for this scenario, everything is sort of sped up, just for, to make it easier to watch. But just like the questions I've been asked, we would have very big evacuation distance based on what the arriving truck figured was necessary. And if it was a big enough scenario, that's why we would need. On their person, they'll have a little vest inside and a radio, and they'll be maintaining contact with the incident commander on scene to make sure that communication is always the first thing to go in these kind of situations. You have to make sure you know what one hand is doing compared to the other, and they do have radio communications, although it is not easy inside the scene to make it happen. But yes, we always do maintain contact if anybody got it. Doesn't get into the level lower protection. Lower class too, that you just in case any chemicals in the water. You're okay, but you can see the SCBA mask outside the suit. And that's really you're going to get it re-examined by the paramedics to make sure that their heart rate is okay, their breathing is fine, they're not too overcome with heat stroke or anything like that. So it takes a cohesive team to do something like this, and it takes a lot of time. But for the sake of the day, we sped it up so we can kind of understand exactly everything that's involved in this, and all the first responders that they're in. Any other questions? That is a really good question. So we were lucky in this scenario in that the first patients were able to walk away and the firefighters could help them out. But however, if they were in that position where they needed CPR, we'd have to take them out of the environment.
This is what democracy looks like! Tell me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Tell me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Tell me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Tell me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!